Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over every item that's in my work bag as a structural engineer. I've been working in the field for a little over 12 months now, and I've found that carrying these items with me allows me to work comfortably from anywhere, whether that's the office, at home, or on site. And before we jump in and have a look at what's inside the bag, let's have a look at the bag itself. So the bag I use is the Samsonite Classic Slim Toploader. I've had this bag for a little while now, and the best thing about it is how much stuff you can fit in it. In the center of the bag there's a big padded laptop compartment, which is great for even the biggest laptops or iPads. On either side there's a zip with two more compartments, each with its own inner pockets. Usually within this front compartment is where I'll put any smaller, looser items, and in the back one is where I'll put any larger folders or books. This bag can be carried in two ways, with the first way being by the two handles on top, and the second way by the shoulder strap. But one thing I do want to point out here is that if you load up a bag like this with too much weight, it becomes a real pain to carry because it doesn't spread the load evenly between your two shoulders. So if you are someone who's planning on putting a lot of weight into a bag like this, I wouldn't recommend doing it, and I would stick to a normal traditional backpack. Okay, now let's have a look inside my bag, and let's start with all the tech gear. First up is my M1 11-inch iPad Pro. I've actually made a full video about how I use this iPad, but in summary, I use it for hand calculations, my to-do lists, meetings, and site inspections. My iPad is actually probably my most used piece of personal tech at work, and I do want to point out that I'm given a work computer as well, but I'm not going to be including that in this video. Anyways, there's two main accessories I use with my iPad, and they are the ESR hybrid case and the official Apple Pencil. Next is my M1 MacBook Pro, and this is my go-to device for looking at my university notes. As many of you might already know, while I was at university I decided to take my notes digitally, and now whenever I want to look back at something, all I need to do is open up OneNote and I can check back at whatever I need. Throughout the day I find that it's easier for me to view them separately on this laptop and keep all my work related things on my work computer, and only the calculation I'm working on open on the iPad in front of me. And another big reason I like to carry around this laptop is that it's my daily driver when it comes to any of the personal projects I'm working on. So after work, if I'm not heading straight home, or at lunch if I get any downtime, I can whip out this laptop and work on any of those projects if I feel like it. Okay, and next is actually two pairs of headphones. The first pair are Apple AirPods, and the second pair are corded earphones that have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Most of the time I only use my AirPods, but occasionally when they're acting funny and they won't connect and I don't have enough time to muck around with them, I will just pull out this corded pair and plug them in, because I know that they'll work straight away without any funny business. I also carry around a couple of charging cables, and for my setup I only need two types of cables, and they are USB-C to USB-C for my MacBook and iPad, and USB-C to Lightning for my iPhone and AirPods. I don't actually use these cords very often because I am pretty good with charging my devices the night before, but occasionally I will smash through a lot of a charge on my iPad, and I do need to plug it in throughout the day. I do also carry a small 5000 mAh power bank in my bag, which is mainly a backup power supply for my iPad in case I'm on site and I need to walk around with my iPad in my hand. One more small kind of tech related thing I keep in my bag too is this screen cleaning cloth. It came in this clear bag and it's nice and slim and fits nicely into my bag. Alright, and next are a few things that I mainly use when I'm in the office or at my desk. And first up is my trusty scientific calculator. I've had this same calculator all throughout high school and university, and as you can see it's definitely had its fair share of use. You can't even make out what some of the buttons do anymore because the paint is completely rubbed off them. Although that doesn't really affect me because I'm so used to this calculator and I know exactly what the buttons do. Another thing that I always keep with me is a notebook and a few different coloured pens. In the past I used to write small calculations and just general notes throughout the day in a book like this, but I've since started writing those sorts of things in my iPad. However, there are times where a senior engineer will come over and they'll want to write with a pen and paper, so I do like to have this just for them so they can write their little drawings or just notes down on something like this, and it's easy for me to keep them and collect them. Okay, and next is something you may have noticed in the back of my videos, and it's a mini Rubik's Cube. About 4 years ago now, I challenged myself to learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and once I figured it out, I swore that I would never forget. So I bought this little Rubik's Cube so that I could play with it no matter where I am and keep up the practice. I also like using it as a way to take a break throughout the day, and by simply having it around, I've actually inspired a lot of my colleagues to try and solve one themselves. Next is my Victorinox pocket knife, and I've never really used the knife part at work besides maybe just opening up a box or a delivery, but I do often use the tweezers and the toothpick. Another small item I have in my bag is my lip balm. The particular one I use is Burt's Bees and it's the peppermint flavour, but I know that there are a bunch of different flavours you can choose from. Often in winter, or even just when the aircon's too cold in the office, my lips do start to dry out, and if I can't put lip balm on them, it does drive me insane, so I always have one of these with me. Alright, and now I want to cover a few things that I carry that are specific to going on site inspections. And for starters, I've got 2 pairs of safety glasses, a clear pair and a tinted pair. Nowadays, almost every site you go to, it's a health and safety requirement that you're wearing some sort of protective eyewear, so depending on what type of day it is or what type of structure I'm inspecting, I pick the pair that's best suited to the job. I also carry a 3rd pair of glasses as well, and these ones are Ray-Bans, but I only really wear these when I'm driving to and from work or to and from site, because let's face it, the safety ones are pretty ugly. Okay, and next is a tape measure. When you're on site, it's really important not to just eyeball all the things you're supposed to be checking, but instead you should pull out a tape measure and accurately check and audit the things that are being built so that you can be sure that the way they're actually being built is the same way they've been designed. Okay, and last but definitely not least, I have a tube of sunscreen with me. For those of you who don't know, I live in Australia and the sun down here is brutal. You can get burnt very easily and in no time at all. I usually have a bigger bottle that I keep in my car, but occasionally when I go to site in someone else's car or the work car and they don't have any sunscreen in them, I like to have this smaller one just as a backup. Alright, so there you have it. That's exactly what I'm carrying in my work bag as a graduate structural engineer. If you like this video, you might also be interested in learning about the biggest lessons I learned in my first year of work, so you should check out this video I made here. And if you want to find out exactly how I use my iPad Pro in a lot more detail, then you should check out this video I made here. Okay, that's it guys. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.